I'm Tara with Simply Made Eats and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited because I'm bringing you my loaded baked potato soup recipe. This one is so good. It's everyone in my house's personal favorite, and we have a snowstorm coming tomorrow, so we have to make this recipe. Check this out. How good does that look? We're gonna get started by chopping up some potatoes, celery, onion, as well as chopping up some bacon into little bite-sized pieces. Let's get started. Okay, so I've already cut up my celery and my onion, and I've also chopped up our bacon into just smaller pieces. These are gonna crisp up really nice. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and start cutting the potatoes. I peeled 5 potatoes. You can use 5 or 6. These are just a medium-sized potato. And I like to chop them up. Let's see. I like to chop my ends off like that. And I want them to be kind of skinny. And then I'm just gonna go back in. Just like that size. And I've got a bowl of cold water here, so as I'm cutting the potatoes, because I'm noticing that they're kind of turning brown, I'm just gonna plop them in this water. Okay, so I've got all my potatoes soaking in the water, and I'm gonna get started with my Dutch oven. We're gonna get started with our heat on medium-low. We're gonna let this heat up a little bit before we add our bacon. First thing we're gonna add in our bacon. And we're gonna let this get nice and crispy. So my bacon's looking nice and crispy. And what we're gonna do now is I'm actually gonna pull this out and put it on a paper towel so we can soak that grease off. And we're gonna leave all the bacon grease in the pan. So make sure you're not getting all that bacon grease out with it. You can use a slotted spoon. I didn't have one clean, so I'm going with this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna save this for our topping. But we really want that grease in there still because this is gonna cook our vegetables and it's gonna be so delicious. Now we're gonna add our 2 tablespoons of butter. And we're gonna add in our celery and onion. And we're gonna let this cook just for a few minutes. We want it to get nice and soft. Potato soup is one of those soups that you don't cook for a super long time, so I do like to give it enough time to get all the veggies nice and soft. Now we're gonna add in our garlic. Our salt and pepper. And our garlic powder and chili powder. Stir this up. Now we're gonna add in our flour. Give that a stir. Now we're gonna add in our chicken stock. Doing a half of another chicken stock, so about 16 ounces. We're gonna add in a cup of milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. Now we're gonna add in our potatoes. It's okay if you have a little bit of liquid left. Give this a good stir. And we're gonna turn our medium up, or our heat up until medium. I can't talk today. And we're gonna let those potatoes cook. Okay, so I'm really happy with the texture of the potatoes right now. I don't want them to be mushy at all, but I also don't want them to be super hard. I want it to just fall apart when I put the fork into it like this. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna transfer half of our soup really carefully. I'm gonna ladle it into the blender because I wanna really like puree that so I can add it back into the soup so the soup is really nice and thick when we eat it. I'm also gonna turn it back down to low now. And you can give it a couple minutes if you're nervous about burning yourself because it's super hot right now. So just be careful. And I like to make sure that I pulse this because I really want it to be super thin and no chunks of potatoes at all. Okay, so we're gonna pour this back into our soup. Nice and creamy. This is looking so good. We're gonna let it simmer on low for about 10 or 15 minutes and before we serve it. Now you wanna make sure that when you're all done with your soup, you go ahead and turn it off because your potatoes will get really mushy. So just go ahead and turn it off and leave it uncovered and then you can serve it. So I've got a big old bowl right here. I'm gonna add my toppings. I've got some cheese, some green onions or chives, and some bacon. Oh, and I gotta grab a spoon for my sour cream. You gotta have a dollop of sour cream on there too. And this looks so good. Okay, so for the final taste test, it's really hot. This is so good. Really the perfect comfort food. You've got to try this Little Big Potato soup. If you make it, make sure you let me know because I love seeing when you guys make my recipes. Thank you so much for watching and make sure to subscribe so we can keep cooking together. I will see you next time.